We welcome you. They might even put you to work in a little bit. You've been at your friend yours and ours. We welcome all of you. And we'll begin with the word of prayer with Jessica. And just as if she slurs her words, it's because she had a little bit too much to drink.
No.
Oh, the tennis. Oh, yeah. Your kids are smiling.
They're like, what are you doing up there, Mom? Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful to be gathered here for this seminar. We're grateful for the opportunities that we have in this field and as students and colleagues in this department. We pray for the presenters. We pray for the Spirit to be with us, teach us the things that are important for our lives and for those that our lives influence. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Who are our moderators today? Hey, Rebecca. Anna, you ready? Ready or not? You understand? Okay, you two introduce, one to the other. And if you could get me in the next, couple hours, your prompts, then I'll go ahead and post them. We have an IPSO announcement, at least one, please, Stephanie.
Different, so it's people online can see as well. So this Friday in 2 days, we're going to have a poster session workshop. So if you are planning on participating in the Mentored Research Conference or any other poster sessions, and you just want time to work on it, as well as a little bit of instruction, some feedback from other students, come. It'll be 10 to 12. It'll be in these classrooms. Also, we strongly encourage, if you have done a poster session in the past, as a student, that you come and share your expertise, and maybe you might even learn some stuff too. It's going to be very hands-on. We'll have a presentation portion. We'll also have you'll see these at your desk. This is the handout or flyer on it. But then we'll also have time to work on it, and then time for you to come back and get some feedback. That's kind of what we're thinking. But those who are online, you don't have this, but I will be sending it out this afternoon.
And if you'd like Echo to send something in the chat right now, you're welcome to do that as well. Well, great. We're glad you're here, and we thank those that moderated last week. Grateful for your comments. You take the weekly group discussion seriously, for which we are most appreciative. And any other announcements from any of you? Anything else you want to share? We have any upcoming thesis, defenses, project defenses, dissertation? Just to remind all of you that you need to be attending one of those once a semester. Unless you did it when we want you to do every semester. Good. Any questions about the projects? All good? Okay. Well, again, thank you. And are we about ready to welcome our visitors today? And Echo, we thank you as always. I'm pleased to introduce to you Chris Crippen, correct? Who is the Director of Service Learning at BYU. He also teaches some student development courses. And we know the importance of learning. We're grateful for a formal presentation. I think your eyes will be widely open to the number of resources and opportunities that are available. And I'm really pleased that IPSO has been doing more service activities than I've seen them. Maybe you've always done. I haven't been around forever, but I'm really pleased with what they're doing. But I think Chris will be a wonderful resource. Will give us some additional ideas. And Chris, would you love to have any of our grad students do some research? Maybe even take on a design project. Chris is so well connected. He knows anybody that knows anybody in Utah Valley. And seriously, if you're working on some projects, if you're looking for a nonprofit, if you're looking, for a really supportive corporate sponsor, you may even turn to him in the future for our 664 class for some ideas of some people that we can do some instructional design for, some clients. But with that, Chris, and I'll let you introduce your guest. We welcome those that are on Zoom. Thankful for you being with us. If you can turn your camera on, we'd prefer that. If not, we won't force you. But Chris, time is yours, please. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. My name is Chris Crippen. I'm the director of the Center for Service and Learning here at BYU. We don't actually have a specific service learning module, or model such as other universities, but here at Brigham Young University, we certainly have a robust effort to provide volunteer opportunities for all students. So that's my main job here. As mentioned, I also teach Student Development 290, Learning Through Service. It's a one credit elective for all students. grad and undergrad. And that's just an opportunity to kind of explore the motivations of service and ways to deepen that. I've also been working with Dr. Quinn Monson with the civic engagement minor here on campus and coordinating with him to see what we can do to help students have more deep civic engagement experiences while at BYU. All right. With that as an introduction, I also want to say I'm very comfortable here. This is where I attended school. The UK school is mine. I graduated in 1999 in elementary ed, me and 300 women. It was wonderful. I believe even this room used to be one of my math classes. So it's fun to be back in the McKay building. I've titled this message Service Learning at BYU because we do that to an extent. And I encourage our professors to involve service to the extent they can in their courses. But as mentioned, here we focus really on the volunteer outreach and not so much on the collaboration with the academic, because the academic side is almost expected to find those opportunities for their students and incorporate them as they use their coursework to teach, to go forth to serve is what I'm trying to get at. That's what we're after, okay? And so what we'll talk about today is a little basic understanding of service learning, some service opportunities that are here right here in the Valley, and especially here on campus. We'll talk about ways that you can incorporate service as a student or as an instructor or even professor on campus. And then we'll learn the value of engaging students in community service. Why is this something that we ought to consider in education, right? And instructional psychology and technology particularly, ways that you can incorporate it. Defined here, service learning is students engaging in community service activities with intentional academic and learning goals and opportunities for reflection that connect to their academic disciplines. So service is the vehicle for the curricular approach. What I love about this, though, is this reflection piece. In the Center for Service and Learning, we spend a lot of time focusing on what was learned, what was the impact of our experience, what was the benefit to those we served, and what was the particular benefit to me. As an individual, we need to bring it home and find out what I'm really learning, do some of that metacognition, right? To understand what's really happening in our world. So BYU is established back in 1999, the Jacobson Center for Service and Learning. And later on, the funding was redirected and BYU kept the Center for Service and Learning and brought it out of what was before in ASBYU. Some of you may remember those days, okay, prior to 99. So it used to be part of the student involvement experience here at Brigham Young University, and then it became a sole entity as the Center for Service and Learning. In about 2004, we started branding YServe. So if you've heard of that, that's who we are and what we do. It is a collection of 70 community service programs currently. It's kind of a living thing. Goes up and down, but we've averaged right around 70 programs, all of which are student-led, created by, operated by, maintained by current students, whether they're undergrads or graduate students. Education and mentoring is kind of our largest category of service. We have a lot of opportunities for our students to reach out and share the gifts and talents that they have within themselves. Part of that experience is discovering those gifts and talents they didn't realize they had. And I'll just share with you a quick little thing we talk about in trainings and classwork is going through a 3-step process. We know that God has given all of his children several gifts and talents. And what we need to do first is self-reflect. Find out, what has God given me? Like, what comes naturally? What am I just able to do? And it's a passion and it just happens in my world, right? Take a journal and start writing those things down. Make a list of the things that you can easily, naturally, right away access as natural gifts of yours. Those are your spiritual gifts. Secondly, and this is interesting, ask others what gifts they see in you. So we ask our students to find out what other people see, because they will always find things that the individual does not see as a gift in themselves. Really, I'm good at that? I didn't know, oh man, you're amazing at that. So those of us words of affirmation people were like, yeah, let's do that, right? Let's talk about me. But the third thing I think from my education background needs to happen is write some personal service mission statements. What then will you do with the knowledge you have of the gifts that you have? How will you apply them? A long time ago, I was granted the opportunity to learn piano, started playing piano. About age 14, particularly noticed that young ladies like men who play piano. That was a motivation to me. And so anyway, as time went on, I began to learn more and more hymns and things and was able to serve in that way in the mission field. But upon return, the bishop found out I played piano and naturally thought, well, you should be our organist. Not the same thing, right? But one of the things we ought to do with gifts and talents is accept opportunity. And the bishop asked, and I said yes. And I thought, now I got to figure this out. And fortunately, those of you organists know that there's a bass coupler button, and I didn't have to worry about the pedals with that. Then I just had to worry about how to spider my hands and make these notes sound congruous. And it came. It came. So, personal service mission statement. With the gift of music that I've been given, I will serve as an organist in the Payson Temple every Friday at 5 a.m. Whoa, right? And that's what happened for a long time. And it was 5 a.m. And so that service mission statement is what got me out of bed to go do it. It's a commitment. I will. Okay. So there I've just given you really quick a 3-step process for accessing your gifts and then applying them and employing them into your world every day. That's one of the things that we talk about in the course and with my volunteers as far as accessing your passions so that you stick with it. And later on, I'm excited for you to hear a very passionate leader in our community who's taken her ideas and her craft ability and all kinds of ingenuity along with her husband and making a fantastic nonprofit that's affected the world. So I'm excited for you to hear from the right. One of our community partners. So we have here community partners, including Stitching Hearts Worldwide, on this day, Habitat for Humanity, Boys and Girls Club, Community Action Food Bank, Special Olympics, Best Buddies, United Way. So you're familiar with some of these kind of big players. In addition to these opportunities, we've partnered with some smaller nonprofits in the Valley. We've also partnered with the school districts, some hospitals, some care centers, hospice organizations. And with this wide collection of community agencies, our students have opportunities to apply just about anything they learn at Brigham Young University. Notice that most of these are located right here. Many universities do kind of venture all over the world and go do this great work. We have been asked by administrators at BYU to focus on loving our neighbors, so staying right here at home. And that indeed emphasized to our students, that starts in your roommates and your family, right? But certainly in those within, from Point of the Mountain to Payson, is kind of the range of our community outreach. And it's just a beautiful thing because we're making a difference in the valley in which we live and learn and serve. So grateful actually for that opportunity. Now, we do have a couple programs that kind of go over borders using technology, your favorite, right? And so we use Zoom. Also, we use a lot of things to reach over with a program called BYU Village Mentors. Our students here on campus are engaging with individuals in Africa currently to help prepare them for college and help them to understand what it is to be a college student and how hard is that SAT or ACT and what can they do to prepare for that. They're also getting a lot of English practice in that process. So typically there's a once a week hour-long phone call or a Zoom call that they have with these students. What a blessing. I frequently, I work a lot with United Way CEO Bill Halterstrom. If you've encountered that name, he's a wonderful pillar in our community, helping with the United Way agency outreach. And he frequently comes in my class and says, there's something called mutual reciprocity, in which those serving and those served are a little bit confused as to who's serving whom. Maybe you've had that experience. You've walked away from an experience where you served someone and you thought, I feel great. I know I needed that experience and it's helped me to do the right thing, right? Mutual reciprocity, both parties benefit. In our 2018 annual LifeServe alumni survey, 88.2% of respondents indicated they're still serving in some capacity. I brought some data later, I'll show you from 2019's alumni survey. And we are only just now getting started with that after the COVID drought. But I'll give you the 2019 numbers. Here's some of the categories that our students are actively serving in. Many ways that our students, especially this language one, you can imagine on this campus how many ways we can serve in that way. using the mission learning. We also have a great access to peer educating. And our BYU tutoring services is the only program where students are serving students. Ordinarily, that's done in the student leadership office above us, right? But in YServe, we have a tutoring program where students can register to become a tutor for a course. And then other students can take that, they can go to this website and just click on this IS class, Intro to Management, right? And say, man, I'm struggling here. And it'll pull up a list of 5 to 6 to 20. Some of them are large pools of students who've signed up to be a tutor. They've taken that class, perhaps the same professor, and they're able to just dive right in and help out this student about an hour a week. And so they're all volunteers. Yeah, in fact, it's the largest volunteer tutoring database that the university that we've found in the United States. Yes.
We have tutors that help with students who are struggling with maybe organization or self-regulation. Like,
no. To be frank, no. We don't have kind of a life skill kind of a thing. I don't know that we have that. I think those soft skills are kind of incorporated in some of the tutoring classwork in itself, right? But no, I can't think of an outreach like that where we're advising that way. I think that's maybe what we leave to the advisors perhaps, but naturally that kind of coaching happens with a tutor and a tutee. It's kind of part of it. But we specifically have designed the program to reach specific courses on campus so that a student can succeed and not feel like they're drowning. We're very connected with the Dean of Students office, and they very frequently deal with students who are ready to give up. I'm out, I'm done, I'm leaving school or worse. Right? And so we've seen this service outreach of peer-to-peer tutoring be a great blessing. We also have, you saw in their Seeds of Success. That is one of our service programs that tutors K-12 kids in the neighborhood. So we've got a parent who's like, I don't remember 8th grade algebra. I just don't. And my kid hates me now. And anyway, so a BYU student comes in, swoops in with his cape on and saves the day for this parent. And they meet on campus somewhere, public, like the Wilk or the library. And they have an hour tutoring session as well. So that's how that's working. It's a great blessing to those individuals.
how many are taking advantage of that with the K through 12? You have a rough number?
The K-12,
How many kids from K through 12 are coming to campus?
Yeah.
More tutors?
currently we only have around 65. That's a great reflection of coming out of resurrecting from the COVID drought. It was much larger prior, in the hundreds prior to COVID. That's been a really rough thing for our business.
Is math primarily
In science. Yeah, math and science. So commonly, Sidney Harris said the whole point of education is to turn mirrors into windows. I'm always referring to these when we talk about this, right? These can be terrible mirrors. They can be great benefits as well. But how can we not get stuck looking at just us and looking at our own needs and rather see what's around us and see the needs around us and be able to reach them and help. What I want to show you is what's happened over the years that students have engaged in some of our service. We did a little alumni survey each summer. And so this is the one just prior to the COVID drought I keep referring to. June 25th to July 8th, we distributed a survey on Qualtrics to 2,290 email addresses that we have of students who participated in YServe over the past, I think we did 5 to 8 years, somewhere in that range. And we only got 274 who actually completed the survey. And of those, 81 were still students. I don't know how they got in there. And then 18 had incomplete responses, so we removed those. So we're going to a sample size of 190, which is, it's significant enough for our purposes here. The demographics, you have the graduate years and the colleges. Notice most of our students come from life sciences. I think you can kind of figure why. We have a lot of pre-professionals, pre-dental, pre-med, who come this way. But we also have a nice range. We've got the family, home, and social sciences being the second highest. We got physical and math sciences, nursing, We need some more from the McKay School, but they're busy, aren't they? All right, and then religious education as well. Of the results here, 51% of participants currently volunteer in community organizations once a month or more, as you can see. Question back there?
I was just going to make the comment that probably the reason why the McKay School is lower is because the students see their academic work as service oriented work. Like if service is tutoring children, that's what they're doing for their classwork.
Right. You're right. As one of our own, I can certainly understand that. This is a compassionate group here, and this is a group that has chosen this profession probably because of their love for serving. It's already incorporated. Yep. Something else I was going to add there. That's okay. It'll come back. You can see some stats here that are kind of interesting and noteworthy for sure. We wanted to see how these align with perhaps the fourth aim, right? Lifelong learning and service. So desire to give lifelong service, 79% agree or strongly agree that YServe had increased their overall desire to give service. Church involvement, not a surprise at 86%, okay? Still serve through their religious organization. I wonder which one that is. But other organizations, this is the cool thing, 82% of participants are currently volunteering outside their religious organization. That's what we're hoping happens. That's what justserve.org is all about, which is separate from us, but we certainly support. Making sure that our membership is contributing to their communities and turning to their communities. There was a little unofficial tagline talking about the Mormon and the Muslim serving side by side, right? That we're working out to the world and not kind of stifling ourselves to our own congregations for service. Philanthropic and charitable giving, 89% give 10% or more. Again, there's an interesting stat, right? 11% did not give at all. That's really interesting. Okay, what do we got going on there? Personal skills as an evidence of involving service in their college experience. You can see what's going on here. 57% say their current amount of service it's helped increase their current amount of service in their community. Jumped up to 77%, increasing their own self-confidence. How about respect for others? We need that in this day and age. 84% of respondents said, yes, YServe my experiences here at university in service helped me to get there. 84%. 82% selflessness. 79% ability to find meaning in service. That is a critical component of a volunteer effort. Accessing the meaning, especially if you're a leader of a service experience, it should probably be your primary objective. We want to make sure those that we lead know why they're there. And hopefully a piece of that why is what got them there in the first place. But as they're doing that service, that meaning component can really keep them coming for more opportunity. Professionally, you can see that event planning, leadership, teamwork, goal setting, all of these things were part of it. And fortunately, communication was one of the high ones as well. That we hear constantly from employers in the area is one of the hard skills that they're looking for to be, and soft skills, that they're looking for. It's your business. Instructional psychology and technology in particular is a method of communication. And this came as evidence that the service experiences provide that blessing. After college, improve the following areas of life: community involvement, thank goodness, get out there. Profession and career, friendships, mental, emotional health, home and family, church service, and civic and political involvement. We're seeing a downward trend toward the end of this graph, right? I'd like to see that maintained a little higher, but that civic and political involvement piece is lower because it's really not something YServe digged into. The Quinn Mawson's office with the civic engagement minor, certainly. But we have been asked to focus mainly on providing volunteer opportunities for our students to be involved in a lot of good things, and not so much a social justice or social impact platform, or we don't do fundraising, we don't do petitioning. We are direct service in our office. All right. From the number, go ahead.
I'm mentioning Quinn Monson and this. I'm curious to know how many classes do you off the top of your head, how many undergraduates actually are required to send? A lot of them, like American Privilege and what was this for civic engagement minor and service for them.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I would say somewhere around a couple dozen. I'd love that to be higher. Most of them ask their students to contribute at least 5, some 10 hours of service. Our most prominent, American Heritage. They're asking a lot of our American Heritage students to do 10 hours of service. Most of the professors do that. Some of our religion courses are very consistent with that as well. And then Family, Home, and Social Sciences, I think is also another one that's ventured out there. We've had a few poli-sci's recently start to do that as well. That's what I have off the top of my head.
Engagement. I mentioned Quinn. Yeah. Is that a minor that requires so many hours of service as well?
Yes. Yes, in fact, there's a large capstone that's involved with the civic engagement minor. Again, I would refer you to Quinn Monson for specific information as well as his website on that. There is a list of many courses, and it's a wide variety of courses that he's encouraged for the civic engagement minor. Many of which have some sort of capstone element to it. And that would be getting out in the community. It would be kind of what Dr. House asked me to address is how can you use the skills you're gaining in your coursework right now, or that you're teaching in your courses, to benefit the community? Are there connections you can find with nonprofits? Perhaps nonprofits need a website, right? Does that ever happen? I get requests from nonprofits all the time. Can you send me a student who can help design a website, or I need a tutorial on how to make something. He's been really good at that because a lot of her projects are hands-on. They've been doing a lot of video tutorials and inserting them into their websites rather than having a human have to say these things over and over, right? And so that's a great benefit that you have the skills to do and can insert. I'm actually going to skip a few of these thoughts on reflection because I want to make sure that you get to hear from Christy, and then I want to give you an opportunity to hear a little bit. I have a little bit of Q&A if you have any questions. This is the course that I teach, 290, just to give you an idea. And we do a little bit of a hands-on midterm secret. Don't share it, no. But I love to bring in this huge stack of review material and just intimidate them and have a session review. And then I say it's time for your midterm. And I say in groups of 2 or 3, go serve. Now, they're like, what? And they go out the door, and for 25 minutes, that's all they get. They need to find some service opportunities. And the objective obviously is to have them recognize that these things exist under my nose and every day. They're right here. And we don't have to look far. We don't need to go to Africa even. That's a great thing. But let's make sure too that we're incorporating this as an everyday thing. So just a thought on that. And I also want to mention how important it is to find inspiration. And as you look for service opportunities, especially professionally, I use a lot of things from Brigham Young University's broadcasting. Okay, so BYU TV puts out some amazing broadcasting that helps to inspire. That's the idea, is to see the good, right? That's their term. And I would recommend looking at some of these, and you'll get ideas. They will come. I use this all the time. I'll pull up an episode of any of these, and suddenly I'll know, I want to do this with my class. I want to take this service program and try this connection, right? So I recommend just looking into some ways that you can find inspirational connections, all right? Why don't you go ahead and get connected? And while you're doing that, I'll just share from one of these, Turning Point. In fact, Turning Point has about 56 episodes of people who've just made a difference, like Christy and her husband here, who found, and they kind of, in a documentary style, analyze what was that turning point, what made the difference, right? And one of those was a pre-med student who went through all the rigor, finally got the white coat and the family practice, and he was miserable after all of that. And so he did some reflecting and he realized, I love traveling. How can I use my profession and put that to work? Well, he also had a sister who was a marketing agent in LA doing really well. He got with her and explained his dilemma, and all of a sudden they had a nonprofit started, and they were called Floating Doctors. His sister helped to get some donors to purchase a boat. They anchored that down in the Caribbean, and they have been going out into the islands and the Central and South American coastline, pulling up and providing needed medical services. They've recruited a whole bunch of their colleagues in the medical fields and dental. They put them on the boat, they take them on these trips, and they go and just do what they can. I love that principle. She hath done what she could is a principle we read in the Bible, right? And so they pull up. What I love about this too, if I could just teach you another principle about service, maintain the dignity of those you serve. So often we'll get some of these groups coming in to serve the poor, those of a lower class, and suddenly it looks like this, right? And we're kind of over, and we need to maintain that dignity. What he did in the Turning Point episode, Floating Doctors, check it out. There's a scene that opens up of breakfast, okay? And you see a bunch of people in a hut busily stirring, probably rice and beans and all kinds of things. And you also see next to them in hammocks, the doctors. Now there's a boat anchored offshore and it's got beds and it's got bacon, right? But the doctors are choosing instead to live amongst and eat with, indeed be served by, you hear that? Those they're serving. And that maintains that dignity. And it allows the others who are being served to serve back. It's a beautiful principle. So, all right, I'm going to turn the time right now over to Christy and let her explain a little bit what she does real time in our community, our valley right here, Stitching Hearts Worldwide. Help me welcome Christy Wright.
I think I'll stand right here so I don't get that in my eyes. Not sure what we've got here. Oh, there we go. Yes, I'm so honored to be asked to come and speak with you today, and to Chris invited me to come. I have a nonprofit organization that started back in 2018. 16, when the big crisis for refugees happened. I've read a talk, an inspirational talk by Sister Esplin, and I think it is, I don't know if it's okay to, we're at BYU, I can talk. Awesome. Anyway, so I read her talk and felt so inspired that I needed to do something. And so I did the things that she asked us to do. And that came, I was able to connect with an organization called Lifting Hands International. And I ended up partnering with them, and we started doing some amazing things, helping the refugees who were at that time, there was so much chaos. And one of the BYU students who graduated from here started Lifting Hands International. And she had been in Greece, seen the chaos that was happening with the refugees there, decided she needed to do something. So she came back and created and founded Lifting Hands International, which now send several 40-foot trailers overseas to Jordan, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Somalia, Greece, just all over. And they're getting ready right now to send to Turkey. We partnered and give them our things. So they have big trailers, they have a place where we end up taking our goods. But let me tell you a bit more first about what we are and what we do. And I don't know where I need to push this or point this. Okay, there we go. So we ended up starting and doing doing projects. We have been asked by Chris to do projects. We did a big event with the athletes, and but anyway, this is our mission statement. Serving and providing service opportunities for individuals, groups, and businesses wanting to help serve those in need. And we offer caring volunteers the necessary tools and materials to be able to put on those projects and making those the handmade items. We try to make things that are handmade because we want it to come from the heart. We make quilts, we have sleeping mats, we do backpacks. Just the items we make, loveys. If you're not familiar with what that is, they're really soft minky. You've all felt minky, I'm sure. And they help to ground those who are going through trauma, their domestic violence or human trafficking. We've had a lot of things that we've been able to send out overseas, and also here we sent a bunch to Alabama. But these are items that somebody has used their hands and made. And the love that goes out to the people from the items that we're making, it's incredible because we're getting reports back and we're getting pictures back of those that are actually receiving these items. We started back, I think it was like in the fall of 2016, a group of BYU students came to me. They were making geckos there's nothing wrong with geckos, but it just wasn't really meaningful to them. And they wanted to do something for the refugees that would make a difference. So they came to my organization. We'd been doing it for about 6 months. I just was getting my feet wet. I had started making quilts and having people tie and long arm, and they wanted me to come and put on an event. Well, there was about 60 to 80 students that showed up that first time. And they were so excited. They begged me, will you please come back next week? We want you to do this. And ever since, while school is in session, we have been doing service projects, and they come every week. They come for 2 hours from 7 to 9. They're doing almost the same thing every time. And yet they are so excited. They love to serve. They love what they're doing. And they are gabbing and talking and having a great time. It's a great social event. These are the people that they're serving. They have these, we have looms that make these sleeping mats that you can see. This fellow here, we ran into him in Richfield. We were just picking up a carload of mats that had been given to us by the service missionaries in St. George. They're doing service 3 times a week. And it's been an incredible experience watching the service missionaries be able to be a part of all of this. We ran into this fellow, and I asked him, I said, honey, we got to give him one of these mats. And so we asked if he would like one, and he was just, and I couldn't understand a word he was saying. But this poor gentleman had no hands and no feet. And I can't for the life of me know how he got that cigarette in his mouth. It wasn't lit, but he had that thing in there, and I'm sure it was his support, but boy, was he happy. We told him that we would love to give him one, that it keeps you 40 degrees warmer at night, and they do. We were able to just recently, BYU students are on the weekly basis, they're making these mats for us, and a lot of other people are as well. We just sent 380 some odd mats down to the tunnels under Vegas. There's a group called Shine a Light, and we're working and partnering with them. They're taking these mats as a carrot, and they're going under to the tunnels, and these people who've lived there for years, and the fellow who actually as a founder of this organization, he used to live in the tunnels for 5 years. Somebody helped him come out, and now he goes back in every Saturday. They put things on their backs, they fill it with whatever needs that they need, and they go and they give to these people. But they're not just giving things. We said, do you want blankets? He goes, it's cold. He goes, no, we don't want blankets. We don't want them to be comfortable. We just want to give them a carrot and say, please come. We've got there's a better life for you. And they give an 18-month program where these people can come and go into rehab. And it's a system where they're just helping them come out. It's an honor to be able to work with and donate to these people. And all we are is getting together, people get together, and they make these mats, or you're using their used grocery bags and you're weaving them together. It is amazing. The quilts we have sent.
Every Wednesday at 7.
Yes.
In the Wilkinson Center.
Always welcome. Is it on the upper floor?
It's on, sometimes it's in the terrace room a lot. Sometimes it's up on the 3rd floor in one of the rooms up there. Yes, you are always welcome.
Always welcome to collect and keep your plastic garbage bags so you can bring them and be turned into these wonderful mats.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
If I may. We just sent 24 pallets. Everybody knows what a pallet is. About 6 feet high, over, 850 quilts and another 800 and some odd mats to Poland for those who are coming out of the Ukraine environment. We constantly are asked by all different entities across the US to do things for them. And I have to say, and I know I'm hijacking this, sorry, Chris. After I watched my wife do this,
I don't park cars in my garage anymore. There's fabric and all kinds of things that are in there. We've tried to get ourselves into a larger warehouse. The beauty of this is not the people who receive the items. I'm going to give you some figures that are not up here. 2 years ago, 1.67 million people received something from Stitching Hearts. 21,000 people in this valley served. Over 440,000 hours of service. And they keep coming back. Their phones go down on the desk and they start worrying about something that changes a person's life. And the irony is, if you think of the Savior, come follow me and what we're learning about in the New Testament, you go and help somebody else, the Lord takes care of you. That's what's happening. I watched this go, it's incredible. So anyway, that's my 2 bits.
Thank you. This is why he is my better half. I love the service. I love to see what's happening to those who are serving, and all of us need it. There's so much happening around us, all of the chaos in this world. We know that that's what's going to happen. And Stitching Hearts is hoping to position ourselves to just be a servant in the Lord's hands. And there are so many people willing and wanting to serve. We do have a warehouse now, so we don't have to be working out of our garage, and we're hoping to get a larger warehouse. But we have people who come and pick up a kit to sew a quilt top, or to do to make backpacks, or any other projects. If you wanted to do to do your own event, you can go to the YServe. That's I'm meeting on Wednesday nights, or you can come serve at our warehouse. We would need as much help as we can get. And we also you can host your own event. If you go to my website, which is stitchingheartsww.org, you can go to host an event and reserve or rent out looms or quilting frames or anything. Is it time for me to close? I did want to say that this is the Lord's work. He wants us to serve, and he's asked us to be his hands. And I feel honored that I'm able to do that, to participate. There have been several talking about some of the benefits. I've had a couple of different YServe directors who have come and asked for referral letters from me. I'm actually doing one for Joe Schuerman. Do you remember him? He's anyway, and what an honor to be able to see these students who are just doing so much work. I have a video I'd like to show, and it's what BYU students have put together for me, because I've got so much that I'm doing. Do you know where if you go into, yes, okay, perfect. If I don't know if you can put that up to.
I'm trying to find it on the actual share your screen.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, it's just, there's a lot of service and opportunities. I don't know that that's, is that the one?
For sharing sound.
It should have, yeah, I selected
They
it.
put this together, and let me just do a pre whatever. This was an event you remember the Paradise fire that burned
California.
back
4 years ago.
that was my hometown. The home I grew up in burned to the ground. I listened and watched videos that a friend of mine took as he was escaping, and the fire was burning up all around him. He had his boys in the back seat, and they were praying on this video. And I was watching this, and I knew we had to do something. So we got together, the community, we got the Islamic Kadeja, their Sunday school got together. We got the Catholics involved. We got just everybody that we could think of, and they gathered together, and we gave these pictures to the BYU students who made this video, and it was just very touching. When I went to go deliver the quilts, I showed this video to the people in Paradise who had received. We took the quilts. They were so grateful. They were just in tears at what the service and who we did it. Because I showed all of the effort that went in to try to get these people these quilts. And I just wanted to share that with you. Okay. It will, and it starts a little bit later.
We love you all. We're all here for you. You guys are the best.
Sorry. Best sound. I think it's my computer sound. Computer sound. I pressed volume up. There's no sound on this part, but as soon as it gets to the. Well, let's see. Technology, I love it.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm thinking, that it might be, it's not 100%. Well, it worked when I tried it.
We love you all.
Just so you know, we can hear it online.
They can hear it online. Okay.
Oh, they're hearing it online.
Because you joined the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all here.
Here we go.
We love you all. We're all here for you. You guys are the best. We're making blankets for you guys. They'll be on the way. Coming to your homes pretty soon.
I've been given this very moment to open our hearts and to listen closer. There is a hope that's burning within us when we let it spark. It illuminates, so shine bright into a world that's waiting for your light. Lift it up.
Paradise, we love you. We're praying for you. Stay strong.
We love you, Paradise. We're praying for you, and we know that you're going to be able to get back on your feet. We love you guys. You're always in our thoughts.
We love you guys. We're praying for you.
We have been chosen for this generation, and we are here with faith to discover. We're finding our voices and making the choice.
We love you guys. Stay strong out there. We're doing everything we can to help you guys. Sending good vibes and prayers your way.
Each other shine bright into a world that's waiting for your light. Lift it up. Right now is our time to arise and shine. So let His love guide our lives and be the beacon that we hold up when we shine bright into a world that's waiting for your light. Lift it up right now. We love you.
We love you. Praying for you.
We love you, Paradise.
I serve because I feel like I've been blessed with a lot of great opportunities, and I feel like if I didn't give back or find other ways to help other people, it would almost seem ungrateful for what I do have.
I serve because seeing other people happy makes me happy. I serve because I've been given so much, and so I want to give back to those who are less fortunate than me.
I like to serve because it makes my day better and it makes the people
around me feel better too. It helps me be more like Christ, and I want to be more like him.
To serve because I like helping others and I just want to give back to the community. I serve because I know that it makes people happy and I love sharing smiles with everyone.
Into a world that's waiting for you. Lift it up. Right now is our time. Right now is our time to arise and shine.
Paradise, California. My heart goes out to you guys. I'm a wildland firefighter myself, and I cannot believe the experiences you guys have been able to have.
We love you.
We love you.
I'm getting emotional.
This
We love you.
this is all for you guys.
We love you and you got this and we're praying for you.
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come and speak today. I would just encourage, there's so much service out there. It doesn't really matter what you do. It's serving God's children and that is what matters. And that's for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chrissy. That's awesome. Chrissy is one, like I said, of hundreds of nonprofits right here in our valley that you can get connected with. And so I'd encourage you to find that in your coursework, and particularly if you are an instructor or professor, there's some opportunities to apply curriculum directly to needs in the valley and beyond, as seen. Dr. Howell asked me to mention we do have a weekly newsletter you can sign up to stay up to date as to what's going on with learning. YServe.byu.edu is our website, and that's where you can access that subscription opportunity. Any questions or anything that I can do from here?
One burning question. I've asked Dr. Timmons if he'll announce next week's seminar and then offer a blessing on our soups.
I don't know about a question, but maybe just a comment, and then this is the way to close up. But I'm serving in a YSA bishopric right now, so dealing a lot with this age group, and we came across some research that had been done. You might be familiar with it. I don't know. And it talks about how young single adults connect with God. And it was interesting. Some of the insights, there were some interesting ones like through nature, but one of the biggest ones was service. So when YSAs are struggling with their testimonies, one of the best ways to help them is through service. So this is more than, I think, just helping them with their education. It's helping them grow closer to God.
Thank you. We find that especially among the freshman population. As students go through their college experience, they tend to find belonging, connection on campus, et cetera. But those freshmen quickly fall into this place, and it's just this kind of gray cloud and doom. And we lose some of them in a lot of ways. And this is a way to keep them. They find themselves by serving others, right? We find ourselves. President Kimball mentioned that in a talk long ago. That's what we're hoping to do, and I hope you can help in that effort. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.